Most people think a tree becomes harmless once it dies. But for some trees, death is only the beginning of the danger. Hidden decay, falling branches, toxic compounds, wildfire risks, and deadly structural failures can turn a dead tree into a serious threat. Today, we are counting down 10 trees that become dangerous after they die, and some of them might be closer than you think. One tree on this list can remain dangerous years after it dies. In the 10th place, cottonwood trees line riverbanks and floodplains across North America, rising fast but carrying a hidden risk when they die. Even after death, a cottonwood can stand tall while masking a hollowed trunk eaten away by heart rot fungi. This internal decay leaves the outer shell supporting massive limbs that can drop without warning, especially during storms. In August 2025, a dead cottonwood collapsed onto a parked vehicle in Nebraska with tragic results. It was a stark reminder of the danger these snags pose in campgrounds and picnic areas. The risk often goes unnoticed until a branch or the entire tree gives way. Tapping the trunk to listen for a hollow sound or spotting fungal conchs can reveal the threat. While dead cottonwoods provide nesting sites for wildlife when they are far from people, anywhere near campsites or roads, they demand caution and respect. Number 9. Elm trees transform from familiar street guardians into unpredictable hazards once Dutch elm disease takes hold. In neighborhoods and city parks across temperate North America and Europe, these trees often stand in places where people expect safety, lining sidewalks, shading playgrounds, arching over busy roads. But after infection, the vascular system clogs and the crown begins to die back, leaving brittle branches that can snap and fall with no warning. Bark beetles carve galleries beneath the surface, further weakening the wood and spreading decay. Municipal crews sometimes mark dead elms for removal, but delays or missed trees mean the danger lingers overhead. A single storm or gust can send heavy limbs crashing onto paths below. Even a tree that looks mostly intact may be hiding rot and insect activity, waiting for the right moment to fail. For anyone walking beneath a thinning elm canopy, the threat is both silent and immediate. Proof that in the heart of our cities, death can turn a familiar tree into an unseen menace. Number 8. Hemlock forests across eastern North America harbor a danger that builds in silence. After the hemlock woolly adelgid invades, these trees die back slowly, leaving behind stands of dead giants that seem stable from a distance. But beneath the fading canopy, brittle branches and weakening roots set the stage for disaster. Brown rot fungi work through the wood, hollowing trunks and making them prone to sudden collapse in wind or storms. As the dense shade vanishes, the forest floor heats up, fueling a surge of flammable grasses and brush. The risk isn't only falling limbs or uprooted trees. Canopy loss transforms the entire microclimate, raising fire potential and reshaping habitat for years to come. In storm corridors or exposed slopes, a dead hemlock can topple without warning, making these quiet forests unexpectedly hazardous long after the trees themselves have died. Number 7. Oak trees stand as silent giants across parks and temperate forests, their thick trunks and sprawling branches projecting an image of timeless strength. Yet after death, oaks become some of the most deceptive hazards in the landscape. Dense hardwood resists surface decay, so a dead oak can remain upright for years, masking the advance of heart rot fungi like Ganoderma and Lytiporus deep inside. These fungi hollow out the core, leaving only a shell to support immense weight. Fruiting bodies, large shelf-like conchs, are often the first visible sign that the trunk is compromised, but by then, cavities may be extensive. When failure comes, it's sudden and catastrophic. Entire limbs or even the whole tree can crash down with devastating force. For arborists and land managers, any large oak with visible conchs or a hollow-sounding trunk is a high-risk candidate for removal, especially near trails, homes, or playgrounds. But far from human activity, an old oak snag still provides vital habitat, a reminder that even in death, these trees shape the forest in ways both beautiful and dangerous. Number 6. Ash trees bring a new level of urgency to the list. Across North America and parts of Europe, the emerald ash borer has turned once sturdy canopies into a fast-moving hazard. A living ash may appear healthy, but beneath the bark beetle larvae are quietly destroying the vascular system. In just 2 to 5 years, the wood loses its strength, becoming brittle and ready to snap. Municipal crews in cities like Overland Park and Wildwood have removed thousands of ash trees in a race against collapse. Warning signs such as stripped bark, thinning crowns, and brittle branches can appear suddenly, marking the shift from slow decay to immediate risk. Entire parks and streetscapes have been transformed into danger zones almost overnight. For anyone near a dead ash, the timeline is unforgiving. What looks stable one season can become a serious threat by the next. Avoid standing or camping beneath these trees, especially in areas marked for removal. The speed at which ash becomes hazardous sets it apart, turning a common street tree into a public safety emergency. Number 5. Pine forests across the mountains of western North America transform into zones of hidden peril after a wave of mountain pine beetle attacks. What begins as a silent infestation quickly becomes a landscape of standing dead conifers, each one a double threat. Blue-stained fungi and beetle galleries tunnel through the wood, leaving trunks and limbs brittle enough to break with a sudden gust. But the real danger rises with the dry crowns and needles, turning entire stands into tinderboxes primed for wildfire. In Madera County, California, officials counted 4 million dead pines in a single region, warning of unprecedented fuel loads and the risk of embers traveling hundreds of meters. Campgrounds and recreation areas are often closed, marked by bright hazard signs where the danger is too great. Even years after death, these snags can still support woodpeckers and cavity-nesting birds. But when fire risk is high, the best advice is clear. Keep your distance, especially in dry, windy weather. The threat of sudden collapse and ember-driven fire spotting makes dead pine a hazard that extends far beyond the tree itself. Number 4. Giant sequoias of California's Sierra Nevada stand in a class of their own, even in death. These colossal trees, some stretching over 250 feet tall and weighing hundreds of tons, can linger as dead snags for decades after fire or drought claims them. The scale is almost unimaginable. A single trunk can dwarf a city bus, and when decay finally undermines their base or roots, the collapse is nothing short of catastrophic. Park managers treat every dead sequoia near roads or trails as a major hazard, enforcing strict 200-foot safety buffers and sometimes closing entire sections of forest for removal. Unlike smaller trees, a falling giant sequoia does not just threaten a single path, it can flatten everything in its radius, from vehicles to entire campsites. Wind, internal rot, and fire scars work slowly, so the threat can persist for years, even as the snag seems stable. These massive remains also serve as habitat for rare wildlife, but for anyone exploring the groves, ignoring warning signs around a dead giant could be a fatal mistake. Coming to the top three, eucalyptus trees stand as a hidden accelerant in fire-prone landscapes. Native to Australia, but planted across California, South Africa, and the Mediterranean, eucalyptus holds on to danger long after death. The secret lies in its oil-rich wood and bark, substances that do not just dry out, but become even more flammable as they age. When a eucalyptus dies, strips of bark peel away and dangle like ribbons, ready to catch the wind and carry embers far beyond the original fire line. Fire agencies treat standing dead eucalyptus as a priority threat, especially during dry seasons and wind events, because these trees can turn a routine wildfire into a fast-moving inferno. The dry crowns and persistent bark strips act as ember ladders, launching burning fragments over roads and into neighborhoods. Even years after death, the wood remains a potent fuel source, forcing land managers to remove dead stands near settlements wherever fire codes allow. While most people picture a dead tree as a static risk of falling, eucalyptus rewrites the rules, amplifying fire behavior and raising the stakes for entire communities. Number 2. Black walnut trees transform the very ground they once shaded into a lasting hazard. In yards, pastures, and hardwood forests across eastern and central North America, the real threat is not falling limbs or a hollow trunk. It is an invisible toxin called juglone. Even years after a black walnut dies, juglone lingers in the wood, roots, and scattered debris, seeping into the soil and stalling the growth of many garden plants and crops. Homeowners often discover barren rings where nothing will sprout, not realizing the culprit is chemical, not structural. Burning walnut wood only compounds the risk. Juglone released in smoke can irritate lungs and eyes, making it a poor choice for campfires or stoves. For horses and livestock, even a small amount of walnut shavings in bedding can trigger severe health problems, including laminitis. Removal is not the end of the story. Juglone can persist for up to 4 years, forcing gardeners and farmers to wait before planting sensitive species. Black walnut stands as a rare example of a tree whose danger continues long after its branches have fallen, making it a quiet force that shapes the landscape and sometimes the health of those living nearby. And finally, in first place, the manchineel tree stands as the deadliest threat even long after its last leaf has fallen. Along the beaches of the Caribbean and tropical Americas, signs warn of its presence, but the true danger begins when the tree is no longer alive. Every part, sap, bark, fruit, and wood remains saturated with forbol ester toxins that do not fade with time. Even years after death, the wood can cause severe burns on contact, and rainwater dripping from dead branches can carry enough toxin to blister skin or damage eyes. The risk doesn't stop there. Burning manchineel wood releases a toxic smoke cloud capable of causing temporary blindness and dangerous respiratory distress. Medical records from the region describe cases of severe eye injury and lung inflammation after exposure to smoke from dead manchineel fires. Unlike other trees, the hazard here is invisible and persistent. Handling, cutting, or even standing near dead manchineel debris can be enough to trigger a medical emergency. Removal is a task for professionals in full protective gear, and public health officials go so far as to post warnings and restrict access to areas where dead manchineel trees have fallen. No other tree on this list combines such acute, enduring, and underestimated danger. The threat lingers in the wood, the bark, and the air itself, proof that even in death, some trees are more hazardous than ever. Across all 10, one truth stands. Death doesn't silence a tree's threat, it can amplify it. What looks harmless may still conceal collapse, toxins, or wildfire risk for years. Nature's quietest hazards are often hidden in plain sight. Which tree surprised you most? Explore our other survival videos and subscribe for more.